Another thing along those lines that we want to talk about, we knew the story about the man Friday who fell at the Rupp Arena
Trancy game.
at the Trancy game, and we had a woman call in. His son is on the phone. Dickie Gregory's son. This is Scott Gregory. Am I right, Scott?
It's Scott Gregory.
Yes. Your father was at the Transylvania game. Tell us again, for people who didn't hear Monday, kind of what happened, because I've had a ton of people ask me about it, and then Calipari, of course, tweeted about it yesterday.
Yes. Well, my mother and father were going to the game, and I think it was around the time of the national anthem, they were going to their seats, and my father was kind of helping my mother, and from the way it sounds, they were stepping down over the bleacher into their seats, and my mother kind of tripped and was falling, and my father caught her and kind of stabilized her, and she was guided to the ground for the most part and fell right behind the bleacher, and he actually went head over first into the row below him and then proceeded to go further down the bleachers. Okay,
that sounds awful. Now, he is in the hospital. What's his status now?
Well, he is paralyzed. We're starting to progress, though. He was on a ventilator. He was the machine was breathing for him for the first couple of days, but they were able to remove the breathing tube, and he is breathing on his own. And he today passed what they call a swallow test, where he was able he can swallow liquids, and he's had things like pudding and that type of thing. So he is going to start eating solid food from this point on. So he's making slow progress, but according to the doctors, it's truly amazing how far he's come from where they saw him and what they expected.
Well, I'm very sorry about that news, but it does sound like it's getting a little bit better. Tell me just a little bit about your dad. A longtime UK fan, I assume?
Yes, he's a lifetime UK fan, and he's attended many different events, football, basketball, and he's, I guess what you call blue collar. He's retired, of course, but he was a blue collar worker. He was very physical. He still played golf. He walked the golf course. He still worked for a funeral home and drove the limousines and things. So he had a lake house that he worked on and did things, climbed ladders. So he was a very active person. And really that's kind of what's helping him go right now. He was because he was in pretty good shape, actually.
How's your mom doing?
Emotionally, she's just drained. It's been very, very tough on her. She's very weak and fragile, and it's a lot of information to process, and a lot of, with the doctor's reports and all of this, it's complicated, and it's a lot to process because, for the most part, their life is completely changed.
Yeah. Well, I'm obviously very sorry to hear the news. Now, you did have some visitors yesterday. Tell people about that.
Well, we were kind of out in the lobby, and the entire basketball team came into the hospital, and it's kind of shocking at first and stunning, but they came in, coaches, it looked like the entire staff, and they kind of met outside of his room, and they went in. Coach Cal went in first, and he with a few of the players, and he prayed with my father, and then the players came in by groups of 3 and 4. And since he can talk, he was calling them by name as they came through the door. And from that point on, his day was just changed. He just had the news that morning that he probably would never be able to use his arms again, and he was feeling really down. But after the team came through, it was just hope. He just was a different person and has been able to, like I said, pass the swallowing test. And it was just uplifting. That's the only way to put it.
I'm sure that was. So he got to meet the whole team and Cal?
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, our prayers are with your family. I can't tell you, Scott, how many people, both when we were at the remote yesterday and people have written us. I know this has happened with Ryan asking if we had heard an update. I know it's tough because I'm sure you all want your privacy, et cetera. But I appreciate you taking the time to come on and updating us on his condition, and we wish you and your family the best.
Well, and if I could just say, my father has said while he's laying there in bed that he feels the prayers. I mean, he says, he's like, yes, I'm paralyzed, but I've never felt this. He said, I can feel the prayers and the aura of the love and the support from the fans. I mean, we've not let him read some of the posts about, we're trying to print those out and let him slowly kind of process that, but he says he feels it, and I've, knowing where he was and how he has progressed, I mean, it's the fan support and the prayers and the love are definitely helping him.
Well, Scott, thank you very much, and we appreciate you calling, and our prayers are with you and your family, and keep us updated, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Well, that was first of all, a tremendously sad situation. Mm-hmm. But also, you can things like that Calipari does are the reasons partly why I can be very defensive about him. I mean, not just going in and seeing him, but you could hear Ryan going in and praying with the guy and taking the team. I was told by some folks that the team, when they heard, a couple of the guys on the team asked if they could go out there, and they decided then to go as a team. A ray of positivity in an otherwise, sad story.
It's hard to explain, the magic and the power that UK basketball has on its fan base, but that's a perfect example right there. And this is when Big Blue Nation is at its best. One of our own falls, we're the first to lend a helping hand, and it's good to hear that Mr. Gregory's doing better.
There you go. We'll take a quick break. 502-571-1080, 877-904-1080. This is Kentucky Sports Radio.